You'll be hearing a lot of stories tonight about the couple from friends, family, as well as some small short stories and lessons learned from them as siblings from me and Jack. I just hope that Jesse still wants to go through with this thing after hearing them.
I'm Jesse's older sister, Katie.
And I'm Brian, the older brother.
We just all want to thank you guys for coming. This is such a special day in both of their lives, and for us too. On our side of the family, we're gaining a great brother-in-law, and I could not be happier that Jesse and Jimmy are getting married tomorrow. I cannot believe that this day is here already. It's so exciting.
And then with that, we're going to have everyone put in their orders, and we'll resume with toast shortly afterwards.
Yay, man!
All right, everybody. So, as our older brother, Jimmy taught me and Jack a lot of things, and I wanted to start things off with the first lesson about the adult role that Jimmy taught me, and that's that titles can be deceiving, specifically the title of dish soap, which is actually somehow not supposed to go in the dishwasher. He taught me this after a night out drinking in my parents' apartment downtown back in college, and in a misguided attempt to cover up all the evidence and wash all the wash all of the plates and everything. He put an ungodly amount of dish soap in the dishwasher and flooded the entire apartment with soap. We tried to clean everything up. We definitely failed very miserably, and our next speaker was never fooled. And with that, I would like to bring up my mom, who would like to say a few words.
Bear with me. Jesse, you and I actually have a lot in common. I once listed all of our similarities to Mike, and he warned me not to reveal this to Jimmy. But this union between you and Jimmy is one day from a done deal, so I think it's safe to tell all now. 8 years ago, when I found out that Jimmy had a girlfriend, I decided to do what any red-blooded Highland Park mother would do. I would do some snooping. I probably asked Mikey Mintz for the girlfriend's name and other stats, because without Mikey, I'd have known nothing about what was going on in Jimmy's life. Mikey revealed that the girl was Jessie Foss and that she graduated from Highland Park High School with all of them. With that information, it was enough to send me straight for Jimmy's closet, where I pulled out his senior yearbook and looked up Jessica Foss. I was thoroughly impressed. There was a picture of Jessie with her teammates on the math team. Jessie was a mathlete. You know, I was a math major in college. I love math. My next resource was the Highland Park High School bus book, and for those of you that are unfamiliar, it's the school phone book that has addresses and phone numbers. So with that, I learned that Jessie lived and grew up in my old neighborhood. So I knew she attended Wayne Thomas Elementary School and Northwood Junior High, the same school that I graduated from. Later on, while Jimmy and Jessie were dating during college, Jessie graduated college early. You know, I graduated high school early. I'm just saying it's another similarity. Over the years, in getting to know Jessie, I realized just how organized she is. You should see our wedding guest list spreadsheet. I started it and she improved upon it. It is abundantly clear to me that Jessie and I have so much in common. Besides, we both love Libra men. So, while Jessie and I may have a lot in common, I do feel a sense of responsibility to give her some tips on how to be a Libra, because I wasn't born one either. So, okay. So one of my first gifts that my mother-in-law, Barbara Lieber, gave me was a very informative book that will help you most fall Sundays, Mondays, and now Thursday nights. Learn the game. Even if you don't enjoy it, at least you'll know what's going on. So, as a Libra woman, you must always be prepared and ready to give the appearance that you are a fan in the event that you get invited to tag along to a game. Keep these in your closet. Northwestern, Cubs, Bears, Highland Park High School for Deerfield games. Oh, and you know what? You're gonna also need these. Toe warmers and because, you know, keep these on hand because I have discovered they come in handy for spring Cubs games, Bears playoffs, although you won't get invited to any. Or most likely skiing in sub-zero weather. So, in the event that Jimmy goes to a game without you, I have found this to be a good time to go to movies and catch up on chick flicks. My mother always gives me an AMC gift card for my birthday in October, and they last the entire football season. I'll share. So Jimmy has other interests other than sports. So get yourself some really good earplugs for the event. In the event that Ben, Jack, or Lon Small cannot go to one of the concerts that he wants to go to. Now, Jimmy, like his father, won't throw anything out. I think Mike still has some clothing from junior high in his closet, and I know for a fact that Jimmy does. So I'm passing this on to you for your marital home, and you can hang on to this. It's his Edgewood jacket. So at any moment, when Jimmy deems the lake flat enough, he will want to go water skiing, and he knows he needs a captain, driver, and a spotter. So in the event that Ben, Jack, or Nick Korn is unavailable, be prepared and bring sunscreen. In fact, I think you should probably hang on to the sunscreen all the time because being a Libra means you have to be prepared for any travel and adventure. So just keep this on hand. And I have found that being a Libra is a fabulous adventure, and I'm sure you will too.
My cousin Marcy and our aunt Susie are going to give a speech honoring Jesse and Jimmy.
So we have some pictures, and so just kind of look at the pictures, and I'll talk about them. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marcy. I'm Jesse's cousin. My mom, Susie, and Carol are sisters. Our parents worked extra hard to make sure that we were close growing up, and so I truly think of Jessie, Katie, and Brian as my siblings. I was 5 when Jessie was born, so there was a big enough age difference for me to boss her around, but we were close enough in age that we loved to play together. And boy, did we. From playing outside, to me carrying her around, to making elaborate plays that went on and on and on, to torturing, loving on Jordan and Hannah, to weekly family dinners at the white table, and hiding on the elephant slide in the basement so no one had to leave. From road trips, Florida trips, and family cruises, we sure did have fun. We sure do have fun. Jessie. Oop. Okay. Go back. Okay, Jessie. On this eve of your wedding day, I can't help but reflect on what a kind, honest, giving, organized, loving, logical, and beautiful person you are. From the start, Jimmy has fit into our family so well. He embraces our loud, chaotic, loving style and adds his own Jimmy charm. Jimmy, how glad I am that you and Jessie have found each other. You are smart, adventurous, caring, and devoted. Jessie and Jimmy, you truly are the perfect match. So here's to you both, wishing you a lifetime of adventure, fun, love, good health, and lots of laughs. Love you both.
Okay, I'm not that organized. Thank God for Jessie. I am Aunt Susie. I'm Jessica's aunt and the sister of Carol, right over there. Hi, Carol. And I've been reflecting on knowing Jessica all her life. But my best memories and recollections are the times that Jessie and I spent in my classroom. I was a primary teacher for many, many years, and those of you who know primary teachers, we begin setting up our classroom in the beginning of August. It takes us a whole month. And so who would I call? Jessie. Who do you call? Jessie. And she would come and help me. And all I had to do was write out a few tasks, and she had, with her executive functioning skills, had it all organized, would cross things out, and then would end up playing at my desk teacher. So, she is truly one of the most organized people that I know, except for my daughter, Marcy, who you just met. She also loved my lunches because we eat in similar ways. The little bags of cucumbers and carrots. Yeah, it was so much fun. And then we would, afterwards, I would buy her clothes because to thank her. So knowing Jessica and her logical way of approaching any task in life, I know that not only is Jimmy a wonderful person, but he is going to flourish under the direction of Jessica. So, love to both of you. I don't have anything for you except 3 little pieces of paper, but love you much.
go to the bathroom before every show or concert you go to. Otherwise, you'll be in the first 3 rows of a Bonner Pearl Jam show, really needing to pee. Then spend the next hour trying to decide whether or not to leave the spot that you waited so long for or go to the bathroom, while half dancing to music and half hold it in too. Eventually, you decide the best course of action is to pull out an empty water bottle, squat down, and pee into it. You know, like a true fan. Now to introduce. Now to introduce 2 people who I'm sure love this lead-in, Larry Lieber.
I'll get Jack. I was kidding, Jack. Hey, thanks, buddy. I'm sorry. I have to come back up.
Awesome introduction, Jack. Thank you very much. What do you want me over here? First of all, I want to thank Michael and Lynn for this lovely occasion. It's awesome, and thank you. And certainly, it's just the preamble till tomorrow night, and I know we're all can't wait for the main event, and that's very exciting. I've gone over the speech multiple times with my family, and every time I bring it up, they say it's not very good. So I need my wingman here, my son, Scott. I am going to start out with one anecdote because Lynn kind of set me up really nicely here tonight. And throughout Jimmy and Jesse's relationship, I've heard multiple times how, and as we've gotten closer to this wonderful event, how Jesse is like more organized, more set together than Lynn, and it's got everything planned, and we all know what we're doing like for the next 5 minutes, for the next 48 hours. And having Lynn in our family, I've gotten to know her very well, and I just have like a story about Lynn, and that I think it's important for everybody to understand. I know that Jimmy understands his mother and what she's all about, but I'm not quite sure everybody else does. So my parents a few years ago had given both to myself and our siblings our Utah condominium town, which was very nice. And the Highland Park boys have spent many Sundance festivals down there, and everybody else is welcome at any time. I don't know if any of Jimmy's friends have come at any time, but I know Scott's taken advantage of it to a significant extent. And so when the transition was coming about, Michael, Lynn, Susan, and I went out for the weekend to get things together. And Lynn, of course, had a freaking schedule since like the airplane ride about what we were going to do every minute and this, that, the other thing. So we got out there on Friday, and the deal was everybody was getting up, and at 8 o'clock we'd start doing further types of activities to transition the condominium. So all of a sudden, like at 7:30, I smell the coffee, and I go, Susan, there's coffee going. I assume something's going on downstairs, so I get up and go downstairs, and there's Lynn with the coffee, and I think she might have even had some, like, toasted some wheat toast and yogurt, because that's all the type of stuff that Michael and Lynn eat, all that healthy shit. And so I go down there, and I go, Lynn, how are you? She goes, fine. And I looked, and on the cabinets, I could see that there were the utensils, the knobs, the pulls, the things that were different. Hardware. That's it. Thank you. I needed that note, that word. So hardware was different. And so I go, Lynn, the hardware's different. She goes, yeah. I go, what, Lynn? She goes, I went to Home Depot. I was there at 3 in the morning. Nobody was there. I go, nobody was at Home Depot at 3 in the morning. That is unbelievable. Who is at Home Depot at 3 in the morning? So Jesse, if you're that freaking organized, Jimmy, good luck. Awesome. Okay? And I'm very impressed. Very impressed. But before I give this to Scott, Jesse, having been a part of our family for the last 7, 8 years, you really melt in great. We love you. You and Jimmy totally complement each other. We're totally excited for you to be in our family. Jimmy, you and I have a lot of things in common real quickly. One, we both understand how it is to be the older brother. We both understand how it is to have a younger brother 5 friggin' inches taller than us. But all due respect, I couldn't be more proud of you. You've taken a road of dedication. You've taken a road that many people haven't. And all I can say is it's a challenging road, but it's a very rewarding road. And I know you're going to be a wonderful physician, a wonderful father, and a wonderful husband. And Jesse, the same to you, and all the love to both of you, and happiness and health and a wonderful life.
They brought me up here because they thought he was going to bomb it. Hi everybody, my name is Scott Weaver. I'm Jimmy's oldest cousin. In our family, my wife is really the one that gives the excellent speeches, but she's a little pregnant right now, so can't really make it up here. But in your heart, Jimmy, you are her 4th favorite cousin, and Jesse, you're her 3rd. So. But yeah, that metaphor's not bad. But it's kind of interesting looking at our lives growing up together. I think I remember, I don't remember much, but I remember when I was probably 6 or 7 years old, going over to your guys' house in Highland Park, and the way their house was there. You would walk into the front door, and then to get down to the living room, there were a series of 5 or 6 stairs. And it was right when Jack and Ben were obviously significantly younger, but now both taller than us, but significantly younger. And I walk in, and for those of you that know Jimmy when he was that young, Jimmy was a little bit of a sumo wrestler of a kid. He was a bit of a pork chop. And I walk in and I'm like, hey, what's up guys? What are you doing? And Jimmy's like, oh, this is fantastic. He goes, I stand up here on these stairs, I line up Ben and Jack on the ground, and I jump up and I just sumo them to the ground. And me growing up with no brothers, I was like, seems pretty awesome to me. So we spent the afternoon just Jack hiling Ben and Jack into the ground. That kind of set the stage of our lives together with Jack and Ben. And then, as we got older, I remember going over to your guys' house in middle school, and I was probably a freshman or sophomore in high school, and Jimmy was in middle school, and I was like, so what do you do for fun now? And he goes, I love music. And I was like, music? And he goes, yeah. So I look at his computer, and he's like, you should look at my computer. And I was expecting to see what I normally see 12 and 13 boys have on their computers, and Jimmy had 13,000 Napster songs. And I was like, why do you need 13,000? I was like, I don't even know there's 13,000 songs in the world right now. And he goes, well, I have 6 from Pearl Jam, Jeremy's when they played in Chicago, New York. He's like, and they're all different. They're all fantastic. I listen to them all before I go to bed at night. I'm like, all right, we're probably not gonna hang out for a little bit here, buddy. I was like, I'll let you get through these years. Turns out, he's still working through that, but then he got into high school and kind of like me, followed the footsteps of the 5'8" Jew on the team for football. The only difference was his was Highland Park, mine was Hinsdale Central. But it was obviously awesome when he started getting into football and watching him through those years and play at Pomona as well. And then post-college, as Lynn mentioned, going to all the Bears game together was obviously super special for me as an older cousin to you, and experiencing those times. And Jesse, you will be invited to many of those games. Yeah, during the season only. Preseason. Oh, well, you should get at least one regular season. That's what Tina gets a year. So you should get at least one regular season. But it's been awesome, and one thing that you guys may not know, but we do this pick 5 thing every year, where it was my grandfather Frank, Jimmy, and myself, and Jack. Ben left us and went to my dad and Michael's team. What'd you say? Yeah, no, okay, that's cool. And it's one of my favorite times of the week. Jimmy was usually the referee between myself and my grandfather in terms of picks, but now I think we have a great time, and Jack, when you grace us with your presence, it's always special. But it's been a lot of fun, and Jesse, I think, you know, the moment we met you at Thanksgivings and things like that, which tends to be when we meet a lot of the Lieber family girlfriends and watching and experiencing and hanging out with them. It's truly special, and we knew right away that you were going to be a great fit for Jimmy, and also introduced him to a treadmill, which was fantastic. And, or I'm sorry, bike, big biker. And we love you guys, and can't wait for tomorrow, and wish you guys nothing but the best. So. All right, Jack, here you go.
Okay, so that went way beyond the schedule. So
Oh, there was a schedule.
Good evening. I'm Catherine, Michael's sister, much younger sister, and I'm so excited to be here. And Lynn, your outfit rocks. Anyway, I need my family up here to join me. Jimmy, we had the pleasure of having Jimmy live with us 2 times, maybe 3 times during his 4th year medical rotations. Did I get that right?
Yes.
And it was fabulous. We had a great time. So we're kind of a musical family. So we wrote a little tune to sing to you, Jimmy. And some of the references only Jimmy will know, but we're musical, but we're not singers, so we apologize in advance.
It's to the tune Summer Lovin', so, you know, just keep that going in your head.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3. We're the family from out of state. If you haven't met us, just sit and wait. We stop by once in a while, always with New York style. We're here to tell a story, it's swell, about living with Cousin Jimmy.
Oh, well, tell me more, was he neat like his mom? Tell me more, or was his room like a bomb?
He was up early before it was light, but always down to go out at night. Burgers, jazz, a drink at JG. When cousins bailed, Roni was key. Jimmy's came to try something new. Kathy's cooking Ethiopian too.
Oh, well, tell me more, how he put up with us. tell me more, and without a big fuss.
It got crowded, so he slept in the den. Built a closet without a handyman. Wonder if he'll ever come back. If he doesn't, we'll settle for Jack. We love you so much, Jesse. We hope you'll put up with us. Congratulations, we love you both so much, Jesse. You've been the easiest transition into our family, and you really are so amazing, and we're just so excited for tomorrow.
And you gotta come visit us in New York, and we'll come visit you.
Excellent job. Excellent. Good singing too.
We're done with those for now, so just enjoy your main course.
Hi everyone. Hope everyone had a great dinner. I hope everyone had a great dinner. We're on with all the speeches. Another lesson that Jimmy taught me is to really make sure you go to the bathroom before any concert or show. Because otherwise, you'll be stuck in the front 3 rows of a Bonner Pearl Jam show, now holding a plastic bottle full of lukewarm urine, which I imagine is not a particularly pleasant situation. So to solve this, you obviously squat down again and now pour the bottle of urine out to the ground in front of you. Then stand back up, move a couple feet to your left, and pretend like nothing happened. Even though everyone around you saw exactly what you did, is disgusted by it, and refuses to come anywhere near you. It also begs the question, why did you use the bottle in the first place? Now, to introduce someone who I'm sure had to deal with Jimmy's urine a lot, my dad, Michael Beaver.
As Jack said, I'm Jimmy's dad, Mike Weaver. I'm not so sure that I've ever been introduced that way, or anyone has, but I'm happy to be up here tonight. Jimmy and Jesse, you two have been together a long time, and Jesse, you know a lot about Jimmy. After you get married, Jesse, you should expect Jimmy to be 100% committed to being your partner, and that you and your family will always come first in Jimmy's mind. However, as I'm sure you found out over the past several years, Jimmy has some interests that may interfere with commitments. So the night before your wedding, I want to make sure that you have a complete understanding of Jimmy's hobbies, interests, and other time commitments. And I thought I'd point out a few of them to you. I think the best way to describe them is to go month by month. I would start in April. Some key dates in April that you should know about. First is Record Store Day. Record Store Day is in mid-April. It's a national holiday for Jimmy. So aside from not making plans or commitments that day, please make sure that you reserve an entire room in your new home for his vinyl records that he'll pick up that day. Especially the ones that will, quote, blow your mind away with sound. You also need to budget for the vinyl expense. The NFL draft is in April also, so be prepared, depending upon the year, For Jimmy to watch 8 hours of TV each day for 3 days and have Jimmy say, "I can't believe the Bears wasted the 138th pick in the draft on this guy." April is also opening day for the Cubs. Playoffs for the Bulls and Blackhawks in case they make it. So make sure if there are any conflicts, you check your schedule. I think if I continue month by month, the speech is going to be too long, so I'm going to skip to some highlights. In the summer's concert season, and everybody knows that Jimmy is a big concert goer and aficionado, and he will get especially excited about new bands that are made up of members of other bands, even if the new band nobody has ever heard of. Names like Them Crooked Vultures, Hollywood Vampires, Atoms for Peace, and The Dead Weather. Now, that's for concerts for bands you've never heard of. For bands that you have heard of, Jimmy is definitely going to those shows, and lots of them are in the summer. Appropriate for being here at Harry Carey's, of course, are the Cubs. And if the Cubs are in a pennant race, or even if they aren't, but he has a friend or an acquaintance or someone he just met that wants to go to Wrigley Field, he's going to the game. Doesn't matter that you live in Springfield. The fall is football season, so every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday night are out, as well as all day Sunday afternoon. If the Bears are playing at home in Chicago, again, regardless of where you live, he'll be going to the games because that's what he does, even if there isn't one of these family tickets that we've all talked about tonight. Finally, in the winter is ski season. And this one is more about Jesse than Jimmy, though Jimmy definitely will have skiing commitments. I'm not 100% confident that Jesse liking skiing was a litmus test to them getting married, but Jesse's desire to ski was an important part of the relationship, and Jimmy almost stopped that desire directly in her tracks. In his infinite wisdom, my son, Jimmy, decided it was a good idea to take a beginner skier in Jessie, an advanced beginner, I'll give her that, through the trees at one of the most challenging mountains in America to test her mettle. Not a good idea. After a slight break, I'm talking in time, not bones, Jessie now says that she loves skiing, she's bought skis, and all is good. Jesse, I'm not saying that we wouldn't be here tonight if you didn't like skiing, but unlike the fiance in the movie Diner who failed the Colts quiz, you passed the ski test. And we are all here to celebrate. Needless to say that Jimmy is a passionate person and loves lots of things, including Jesse, and our entire family couldn't be happier for you guys. We're all looking forward to it.
Next to speak is Jesse's college friends.
As you know, Jessie's an amazing lady with many kick-ass sides. Today, we wanted to share the 50 shades of Jessie you may not know. 45 of those were not appropriate, so we decided to just share 5. Shade 1, the problem solver. To begin, let's introduce you to shade number 1. There is simply not a problem that Jessie cannot get done. From coordinating our bills to making sure we were best dressed for Halloween, Jessie always has a solution to the unforeseen. Our senior year, we ran into a big problem. Leave it to Jessie to think of something awesome. In our senior house with 5 beds and 6 people to live, what were we to do? Jessie stepped in and not only found
a mattress, but slept on the floor, and we all said, Yahoo!
Shade number 2, the boss. To continue with our second shade, Foss's boss never seems to fade. Wherever she goes, her bomb, girl boss qualities come out. In school, her career, and amongst our crew, Jessie's ability to lead,
or bosses around,
always seems to shine through. You see, Jessie doesn't just achieve, she overachieves. Who else would graduate early with a major, 2 minors, honors, dean's list,
and a bronze tablet?
And the list continues, we believe. She might be small, but she's got the grace and power to command a group of tools. Like when she got 500 barn dance bros to listen to her rules. That's why we can only trust this one and only boss. We will certainly miss calling her Jessie Foss.
Shade number 3, the sister. Being our sister is Jessie's shade number 3. This sisterhood extends beyond our sorority. Jessie is the best DT. She is always there. She's more than just our sig delt sister. She always shows she cares. SDT is in her heart, and the bagel room bagels are in her tummy, but now she is GF, so she doesn't think that they're yummy. She loves to keep all her friends nearby. That is why she made sure that none of us joined AE5. She's helped us with homework, looked at our resumes, and more. We don't know what we would do without her. She is part of our core. We don't want to fool you. Jessie is no saint. She said we could tell you about how fun she truly is without any constraint.
Shade number 4 is the wild child. Let us tell you, her nights were never mild. Leader of the fun crew, she did love her handles of Bacardi, and it's clear from her table dancing, she was the life of the party. From exchanges to barn dances, she showed us how it's done. There's a reason she wasn't on STT exec. She was having too much fun. Luckily we have a friend like Jessie. For those nights we got a little too messy.
Shade number 5, the partner in crime. To wrap up our lovely ode to Jimmy and Jessie, we want to share a few words about why she is our bestie. As you will see, shade number 5 is partner in crime. To share our stories, we will take a break from this rhyme.
Jessie was my partner in crime ever since day 1 in IT. We became the duo, Jessie and Jenny, Jenny and Jessie, and the rest was history. From beer bonking wine to whining across the room when we were too tired to get out of bed. You were my first and last roomie, that's a girl. And I couldn't have chosen anyone better to fit that job.
Our friendship started at camp. You're still saved in my phone as best bunk mate ever. And it was then that I knew you were my partner in crime forever. There's no one else I would have rather had by my side abroad, from partying on all 7 stories in Prague, to romantic getaways in the south of France, to mastering the fine art of balancing culture and excessive sangria drinking.
From HP to VA, you've been my partner in crime. We always forget that we've been friends for such a long time. Thanks for laughing with me through all of life's adventures. Don't worry, I will always be around to remind you of the memorable events that just happened. Remember when we just rehearsed your wedding?
Jessie has been my partner in crime at HHS, Camp Shy, and U of I. We have the same group of friends. How lucky am I? Our best idea was forming a quad with our freshman year roommates, and now I get to give you 2 speeches at your rehearsal dinner. Isn't this great?
Done with the rhyming. Jessie has all these wonderful shades, but it's Jimmy's shades that complement her so well. Jessie and Jimmy are truly a great pair. They're so supportive of one another and their common interests and goals. You guys have always made it work.
We are all thankful to have gotten to know and love Jessie's many shades throughout the years, and it's obvious that she shines the brightest when she's with Jimmy.
We all know that this ambitious duo is set for a lifetime of happiness, filled with good food, music, travel adventures, successful careers, and hopefully lots of skiing for Jimmy's sake.
Let's raise our glasses, or tequila shots, for the wild child turned Mrs. and her incredibly lucky future husband.
IT? Yeah. Now
So, continuing mine and Jack's themes of things we learned from Jimmy, another important life lesson that Jimmy taught me is to always know the value of things. You might be surprised that this is something that Jimmy taught me because the only things he buys in life are records, speakers, and flannel shirts. Still, he taught it to me nonetheless. When I was a bright-eyed freshman in my first year of college at Pomona, I thought it would be cool for me to get my upperclassman brother to go buy me and a bunch of my friends some booze so that we could throw a party. Being the great or terrible older brother that he was, Jimmy obviously agreed. Little did I know, though, that he went out and did a survey and bought the cheapest, grossest, couple of handles of rum that he could find. Sailor Jerry's, to be exact, which I think he single-handedly made sure was stocked in the bonds near Pomona College because he was the only person on the face of the earth that ever bought it. And then when I went to go pick it up, he promptly charged me about 3 times what it was actually worth. And our next 2 speakers did absolutely nothing to stop him and are nowhere near as prepared as the previous group, so I'd like to welcome Ron and Howie to the stage.
Thanks for the disclaimer, we appreciate that. We do have a piece of paper, so we jotted some notes down, so we're off to a good start. I just wanted to take a quick second. So I'm Elon, I'm one of Jimmy's friends, and when we Howie and I were talking about 2 hours ago about what we were going to say, we kind of said, well, let's reflect a little bit about our relationship with Jimmy. And it's really special to have a friend that I've known for so long, and I'm so similar to. Jimmy and I played football together in middle school. We went to Highland Park High School. We both ended up going to Pomona College, which no one from Highland Park had ever heard of. We both ended up doing pre-med. We both came back to Chicago, worked for private ambulance companies, and ended up going to medical school kind of in the greater Chicagoland area, I'll say. And as Lynn pointed out, I'm part of the small rotating crew of people that Jimmy would invite to concerts. So really, really special to have a friend like that.
Don't worry, we're just getting started. My name's Howie, and I haven't met most of you here, and I think that's a testament to the way that Jimmy invites people into his world, into the world of Believers, and I'm so grateful to be here. I met Jimmy in one of those moments that has been alluded to tonight, and I was at a Pearl Jam concert. I had met Jimmy before, but I didn't know Jimmy until we went to our first show, and he told me, if you're going to come to this show, here's how you get there. Gave me a full rundown of how to travel through LA so he could meet me after football practice. And he said, the only thing you have to do is memorize the lyrics to Better Man. And I didn't know what that meant. And so hopped on YouTube, and before too long had learned the lyrics. And when we were at the show and Better Man came on, and Eddie Vedder just started to play the chords without singing, Jimmy wrapped his arm around me and we started to sing Better Man. And that was kind of how I fell in love with this great man, and it feels so excited to get to call him a brother. People asked, whose wedding are you going to see? I said, I'm going to see my brother Jimmy's wedding. So happy to be here.
So it seems like tonight there's been a lot of discussion about how organized Jesse is and how disorganized Jimmy is. I did live with Jimmy. I'm not very organized. I thought he was actually pretty organized. But I think that the thing about Jimmy is he is very organized, but in very particular areas, and not necessarily related to his professional career or anything else relevant, but really just kind of Jimmy's particular interests. One of those that's been discussed is music. And this is a man who spends tremendous time perfecting his craft. And if you ever have a chance to talk to Jimmy about his sound system, that'll be a long conversation, and you'll end up Googling a lot of things. And so one day, it was just a random day during the week, and I got a call from Jimmy. And one of the really special things about Jimmy is that he's really interested in things, but he really wants to share them with the people around him, and he really wants to create community around the things that he loves. And so one of those is his sound system. I know it sounds weird, but I'll explain. So Jimmy decided that he wanted to upgrade, and I don't really understand exactly what he was upgrading, but he wanted to upgrade, and he didn't want to just give his sound system away he didn't want to sell it on eBay. He wanted to give it to someone that appreciated it. And I love music a lot. I haven't done quite the research to understand all the components of my sound system, but Jimmy called me up and he explained to me that he was selling me his old sound system, but he realized that my current sound system, which is kind of your average person sound system, wasn't compatible with how advanced his sound system was. So he needed to go on eBay and find the appropriate components that would match the sound system he wanted to sell me. And it sounds like he took basically an entire day to arrange all the appropriate deals on eBay to get me a fully functional sound system. And not only did he do that, but he came over, delivered it to me, and helped me set it up. And I mean, that just kind of demonstrates the man that Jimmy is.
Another quick story about another side of Jimmy, and that's skiing. We've talked about this and the ways in which, Jesse, you pushed Jimmy to be his best self is really inspiring. I'm so grateful that you're in his life for that. And one of those things is skiing, and he kind of pushed me to be great one day where there was a lot of snow at Alta, and if you talk to Jimmy, he'll probably talk about Alta for a long time, ski resort in Utah, and there was a lot of our friends who were going home for the day. And Jimmy, and his desire to be great, to take everything from life and from the day, decided that we were going to stay one more day. And Lynn, I think he had your Civic at the time. Is it? Accord, sorry, the Accord. A car not generally designed for Utah snowstorms, but we were going to go and we were going to get after it. And I just remember following Jimmy around, and he had already given me his ski playlist so that we could be listening to the same music during the day, and had the absolute best ski day of my life following Jimmy around. And this skiing is not so important as this desire that Jimmy expresses to the world all the time, which is to try to be the best, to take the most out of life that he can, and to invite the people that he loves into those spaces. And in that sense, we are just so grateful that you all are joining your lives together and going to try to be perfect and to make the most out of this world.
So we're not quite clear if we have a central message to our toast, but I'll try based on what we talked about. I think that we've really seen what Jimmy can do when he puts his heart into something, and we know how much he loves Jesse, and we're so happy and excited for the future that you guys are going to have together.
So we've had a lot of prepared speeches tonight, and just want to take this opportunity right now. If anyone wants to make an unprepared or improvised speech, to let me know. I don't have my contacts in, you're gonna have to like wave your hands really aggressively. But if anyone would like to make a speech that wasn't planned, you know, since these words won't be spoken at the wedding, speak now or forever.
Nice job, Ben.
And if no one wants to, then we can just enjoy dessert.
Okay, everybody, we're going to continue with speeches. So next
I met Jessie when my family moved in next door to hers. We were 2. I was extremely shy, but it did not hold back our friendship from growing. Jessie gladly took the lead at almost every playdate, from choreographing dances and commercials in her basement to selling Crazy Bones on my driveway and concocting homemade lotions for our beauty company. Most neighborhood friendships end when one person moves, but ours has lasted more than 25 years, and we're still neighbors today.
That's a picture of Jessie and I from Halloween. She was Miss America and I was a camper, so really. Yeah, there were some other ones of me being a gardener and her being like a princess, so you can see that explains our relationship. But my name's Alyssa. Some of you may know me as AP, but I've been friends with Jessie since one of us stood behind each other in the kindergarten line, and it's been a great friendship ever since. Can't imagine my life without Jessie, from begging our parents to watch our full-length performances in my basement, to making music videos to Destiny's Child with Emily, and always getting smashed by her in a Mario Party, because I'm horrible. To our later years of Camp Shy, parties in Jimmy's basement, and finding nice Jewish men to marry. We have been through it all. Jimmy and Jessie, wish you good health, happiness, and lots of laughter. Love you both.
Hi everyone, I'm Alana. That's a picture of us in the ocean, probably in Florida. I met Jessie in 1st grade when Alyssa introduced us, because we were in the same class. And we have also been friends ever since. I became really close with Jessie when I convinced my family that I needed a sister, and so she had to come on all of our family vacations with me, since my brothers would play with each other and I needed a friend too. And we have remained friends ever since, traveling together and visiting each other wherever we have lived, and I promised to come to Springfield. And now, since you went on my family vacations, I just can't wait to be invited on all of yours. For years to
Hey, I'm Lauren. That's a picture of me and Jessie in high school. I couldn't find the young one, even though Jessie and I have been friends since 2nd grade. When I moved to Highland Park, she was one of the first friends that I made. And I think we bonded over our love of singing, even though neither of us can. And the rest was history. I met Jimmy in high school. We became good friends in AP Chem. And to quote Rachel from Friends, I've known them separately and I've known them together. And to know them as a couple is to know that you're truly in the presence of love.
Hi guys, my name is Beth, and this is my literally favorite picture ever. We look so happy. I don't know, it's from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, but it's so cute. When our 5th grade talent show rolled around and all of our friends decided to do a gymnastics routine, I felt really left out because I almost went to the hospital trying to do a somersault. Jessie could do a somersault because Jessie can do anything, but she came to my rescue and she said we could do a dance together. So we spent hours in my basement in front of my wall of mirrors rehearsing and performed in the talent show together. That's when I knew Jessie would be my lifelong friend. Fast forward to years of being obsessed with the movie Mean Girls, being in musicals and chorus together, countless trips to Olive Garden when Jessie got her license, and finally being in college together and then roommates in the city for a year. It's now the night before you get to marry the guy of our dreams, Jimmy. Throughout our lives, Jessie has been a mentor to me, not just a best friend. Even though she's shorter than me, I've always looked up to her. Jessie and Jimmy, the limit does not exist for you two. And although you might never make fetch happen, you can always sit with us.
My name is Ariel, and I am, this is our first football game at Highland Park High School. And yes, I'm wearing blue eyeliner. When I met Jessie at Camp Shy this summer going into 8th grade, I was so relieved to have a new camp friend and school friend. Jessie and I bonded throughout the years, from going to our first high school football game together, to doing dance shows together, to even going to Jimmy's super fun house parties because he had an awesome basketball court in his basement.
Luckily, Jay and I both decided to go to U of I, where we branched out by joining the same sorority and forming the same group of friends. I am grateful that I've had Jessie by my side for the most important moments in my life. But I'm even more grateful that I was by Jessie's side as her relationship with Jimmy blossomed. Jimmy and Jessie, you two are perfect for each other. I can't wait to see what you accomplish as doctor and wife. Please raise your glasses to congratulate the beautiful couple. Mazel
Alright guys, one last. I promise this has nothing to do with Jimmy did. One other lesson Jimmy taught me was to never get angry if things don't go your way. When I was in middle school, Nine Inch Nails was on their first goodbye tour. And naturally, Jimmy wanted tickets. Jimmy and I were in the study blasting Nine Inch Nails music, trying to get tickets on 4 computers. Unfortunately, the site crashed and Jimmy couldn't get his tickets. Instead of accepting defeat, Jimmy decided in a fit of rage to drive 45 minutes to the metro, presumably blasting Nine Inch Nails the entire way. He got to the theater, stormed up to the ticket office, where the attendee immediately pointed to the exit and said, "No, get the fuck out, you're not getting tickets." When Jimmy finally got home a few hours later, I asked him how it went. He finally shot with "fuck off." And now to introduce people. Yeah, sorry. And now to introduce people who Jimmy has for sure told to fuck off multiple times. Jared Dub, Mikey Mintz, and Nick Korn.
Yeah, he's never said anything like that.
I want to start by saying we're both Jimmy and Jesse's friends. And also, before I go into the speech, Jimmy said, "You can roast me, you can do whatever, you can say the jacuzzi story." And I was thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Jimmy, dude, we've come a long way from your mom begging me to get you a date. Not to say the football jersey and sneakers wasn't a good look.
James, from playing Legos at age 3, to playing sports, to having our first beer, a Heineken in Mikey's basement, we have so many great memories. I've always believed true friendship knows no distance. No matter how far apart we've been, we always pick up right where we left off, and that's always meant the world to me. I'm so happy to be here, toasting at your wedding, your rehearsal dinner, and to fund your kids' college education with Korn Future Broken Bones. Jesse and Jimmy, I love you both very much.
Jimmy, your love for music, food, camaraderie, and awkward guitar dance moves has provided me, and I'm sure almost everyone else in this room, with unforgettable memories. You have a unique ability to connect with people through experiences. Whether we go to Big and Littles, or if I didn't mention Big and Littles, I know every time we hang out, we make it count. I'm honored and grateful to be toasting at your rehearsal dinner, and I can't wait to visit you, Jesse, and the puppy you promised Jesse in Springfield.
Jimmy, I know you told me you'd never drink again after that high school party at the end of sophomore year, but we're so happy to be toasting you at your rehearsal dinner. Lynn, not only did Jimmy get a date, but he's the first one of us to get married, and it couldn't be to a more wonderful and beautiful woman than Jessie. Yeah. Cheers to the three of us. Love you, man. That's it. Short and sweet.
So we just wanted to thank everyone for coming and giving such amazing speeches that shed us in very, very nice light. Very surprised. I didn't have anything prepared, but we're so very excited to celebrate with you tonight and to celebrate with you tomorrow. It's going to be incredible. I can't believe it's here, and it's already been the best day ever. I can't imagine how great tomorrow's going to be.
So we have a lot of out-of-towners in the room, so I want to explain something here. Everyone here has a cookie with a W on it. And in Chicago, when the Cubs win, and we've got our two families combining today, and something that we both have in common between the Foss and Lieber families is that we are Cubs fans. So in Chicago, when the Cubs win,
most of us.
Some of the Lieber family. So in Chicago, when the Cubs win, they fly the W. So tomorrow, we're going to fly the W for our wedding. And we're so glad that everyone will be there
Thank you.